Hey guys, Marcus here from Shoot It Film and Photography, and in this video I'm gonna take you behind the scenes on an industrial location portrait shoot from a few months ago. For this client we have done both video and photography a few times before, and this time we were gonna shoot some new corporate portraits and also some photos of the workers in the factory and the office for the company's different marketing purposes. As always, I'm gonna show you the gear we used, cameras, lenses, flashes and so on. You'll see how we set up the flashes and light modifiers, how we shot it, and also some insights from the raw processing and editing. So let's dive into it. On this shoot, we used the trusty Canon EOS R5 together with some nice RF glass, the 7200, the 1535 and the 2870. And for lighting, we had 3 Godox 8200 Pro, which probably has the best value you can get in a flash, in my opinion. Some various light modifiers, and also the Godox XPro wireless trigger. Adding to that, a few different light stands and the Manfrotto 055 CX Pro 3 carbon fiber tripod. That was basically the gear setup. And for live wireless preview, we use an iPad Pro with the Canon Camera Connect app. This is a pretty quick and smooth way to show the client a preview of the photos right away, so that we can evaluate and change things if there are details that need to be adjusted and so on. Before this shoot, we had asked the client to put together a rough schedule with 5, 6, 7 different locations on their premises. So this way we knew what we had to shoot and how much time we could spend on each location. So we basically just walked from place to place and carried the tripods and flashes and camera gear all rigged. The look and feel we were going for in these photos was a rather cold and bright and contrasty look with a bluish tone in the background, since different shades of blue are the brand profile colors of this glass manufacturer. And for the corporate portraits, there was also a wish from the client that you should see in the photos that this environment was inside their glass factory. So therefore we try to work a lot with different angles and reflections in these big pieces of glass in the background. This was quite challenging sometimes. You had to find the exact angle to get the reflections right, and we also knew that we had to let a lot of ambient light into the photos to get the background bright enough, which meant a mix of different color temperatures with both flashlight and ambient light from outside and the fluorescent tubes in the ceiling. So I already knew at the shoot that I was going to have to make some masking and color adjustments in post, and I'm going to show you that in a moment. But first, let's take a look at a few different locations from this shoot, the camera settings we used, and how the final photos from those locations ended up. So first off, we had this location where we shot the corporate portraits, or actually it was like 3 or 4 different locations at the same place, just different angles and so on. And as you can see, I used 1/15 of a second shutter speed. That's pretty long. I probably could not have done this handheld, so nice to have a tripod. I don't even know why I used ISO 125. I just did adjustments to the shutter speed and the aperture and the ISO up and down just to tune in the exposure I wanted. And this preview with an iPad that you can just put in the client's hand is very appreciated among basically all clients. So that's a recommendation if you're not using a solution like that. So location number 2 in the production, took a few photos here. We also had to make a lot of adjustments to the background light, which was pretty green from these fluorescent tubes in the ceiling. So a new location here, and the thing with these photos was that the breaking of this glass is kind of that was the important detail that they wanted to show. Don't ask me how this works or how difficult this is, but this is sort of a trade that you learn from many years of working. So they really wanted to point out that they do this in-house, so to speak. And another location in the production area. rigging a light with a shoot-through umbrella to light the background. And we took a few different angles on this location as well. And this was the last location. I haven't shown you all the locations here, but this was the last location of the day. So we just have 2 workers here, and you can see the flash in the background, lighting up the background so that we have the same color temperature on the models and the background, which makes it convenient in the post-processing. So let's have a look at what I did in Adobe Camera Raw. Here are a few of 2 of the corporate portraits. So as you can see, this white balance is not really cold, and we wanted a cold look, so I adjusted the temperature here to a bit colder. You can see before and after. And then I add some sharpness. That's what I basically do to all photos in the raw processing. And some more contrast here as well. These are just basic adjustments. But to adjust the background only, there are a few very nice functionalities here in Camera Raw where you can select the background. And I think this does a pretty good job actually. You can see the red overlay there is what's selected. And then I can just drag down the color temperature of the background. And then you can add masks like this. You can see that her face is a bit overexposed, so I wanted to lower the highlights just a little bit in her face there. And if we look at her dress, it's pretty dark down at the bottom, so I made another mask here and just raised the shadows a little bit. So that's basically it. And on some of these photos I did smaller adjustments. I removed like hairs and stuff in Photoshop with the clone stamp or the healing brush. But here you can see before after. Big difference. So this was more of the look that we were going for, this cold bluish tone, but the skin tones of course needs to be correct. So adding a little more contrast here, something like this maybe, before, after. So let's go to the next photo. As you can see, this is sort of the same location with a big piece of glass in the background. So I'm just gonna lower the color temperature to a bit colder, and then we can go into this masking tab. So 1 click and you have selected the background, and then you can just adjust the color temperature to whatever you want there. So a bit colder. And you can see here that the guy's shirt is pretty overexposed, and we need to fix that. So if we click here and go into people, Photoshop or Camera Raw identifies that there are 2 different people in this photo. So if we pick the guy here, you can then select different parts of his body. And again, I think it really does a pretty good job with this. So if I pick clothes here, you can see that it selects the pants as well. So then we have to subtract and then just pick a brush, a bit smaller, and then just deselect the pants so that I am affecting the shirt only. And then we can just lower the highlights so that it's not so overexposed. Somewhere around there, maybe? Looks good. And then maybe just add a bit more contrast, something like this. I don't know how this comes off in a YouTube video, because I can see on my own screen that the uploaded YouTube video and my final images are not the same. But anyways, you get the idea, before and after here. So a lot colder and a lot more in the direction that we were heading for. We could not do this, of course, on the shoot, but easy to fix in Camera Raw. So that's about it for this video. Thanks for watching, and if you found this content useful, feel free to click those like and subscribe buttons, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, bye!